Now, before Amber took the stand, right, we had heard a lot about the bad things that she had done and some of the aggressive behaviors. I'm wondering if this jury, now after hearing her testimony, is looking at that stuff in a little bit of a different context. I know the psychologist put it in a different context. Now hearing her stories, I wonder how that's playing. So let me get with my guest. Still with me, criminal defense attorney Joseph Tully. Now, Joseph, I want to unpack something that you mentioned the last time we spoke. You said that you didn't think that her testimony was enough on its own. And essentially, this is a he said, she said. So I want to get the reasons why you think just her telling her story is not enough at this point.
So it's just looking at her on the stand and evaluating, is she connecting to this jury? Are all of the emotional cues that she's giving to the jury, are they adding up with her speech, with what she's saying? And while no victim of abuse is going to follow a certain pattern, I don't see a high degree of behaviors where everything's matching up. And if you look closely at Johnny Depp and his lawyer, the one thing that I could tell you is that they seem very confident despite no matter what she's saying. They appear very confident, and that does not look like an act to me, because I've been there. I've been there when there's someone on the stand who's giving testimony that's not favorable, but you're kind of checking the box. Okay, we knew they were going to go there. Check. Okay, oh, they went there. Okay, we got a problem. We've got a solution for that. Check. And they look very confident, and that looks very genuine to me.
Interesting, because I noticed that as well, and we've been showing some of that. Let's show, I think we have some video of some of the reactions of Johnny Depp, where he's even at points laughing at some of her testimony, which seems a bit out of place. And I wanted to ask you about that, the idea that they're responding in that way. Is that not is that problematic? And I understand exactly what you're saying, Joseph. They feel like confident that what she's saying, maybe they can counteract it. They have evidence that can maybe impeach her or bring somebody in to tell a different story on their rebuttal case. But what do you make of the way they're going about it? Is that problematic?
So it can be. I don't get a sense that it is problematic here. So yes, if somebody's smirking, laughing, belittling someone who's detailing abuse, that could very much cut against them. That's what an abuser would do, right? To continue to abuse, to belittle, to denigrate, to degrade, even while they're on the stand telling their truth. It could also be somebody who knows someone else is going to come into court and be not truthful and kind of go overboard and exaggerate. So it can kind of go both ways. And I guarantee you, if we could poll the jury right now, we'd have people that would say, I absolutely believe her. She's, being truthful 100%. We would have people saying, no, I don't believe her at all. Not everything adds up. I don't think she's being sincere.
Well, you mentioned poll, which is great because CourtTV has taken a poll, and I think if we can call up the results, I believe at this point it's running about 80-20. People not believing her, 80%, 20% believing her. But what I can tell you, Joseph, is that's a huge victory for Amber Heard, because if you had done a poll before she took the stand, I'm telling you it would have been 99 to 1% or 95 to 5%. So there are a lot of people out there who are buying her story, who are feeling something for her. But here's my question for you. Does she, and the one problem I have so far is that she may seem a little bit too practiced. Is she coming across a little too practiced for you? Is that part of what you're talking about in terms of not hitting the right emotional cues?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel sincere. It seems like she's got these great lines on a piece of paper that are supposed to hit these very emotional beats, these very these faux pas or these things in society. You're not supposed to beat up a vulnerable person if you're stronger than them, but it's just not coming across 100% sincere.
And Joseph, she's an actress, so maybe she's just acting. That's what a lot of people would say. All right, thank you so much, Joseph Tully, for being with me tonight. Truly appreciate it. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Coming up next, would be enough to convince 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's interesting. Now, we heard some of her testimony, she's talking about other people who have either witnessed or were actually a victim of some of the violence perpetrated by Johnny Depp. I would imagine at some point some of those people will come in and corroborate some of her testimony. So with that, let's say, now we haven't seen that yet, but let's say with that, would that change your mind? And again, we're talking about a different standard. You're talking about a criminal standard. Here we're just talking about the fact that clear and convincing evidence is what Johnny Depp has to show this jury, that he did not abuse her. So let's remember that. But if that does happen, if there are these people who come in and corroborate some of her stories, she appears to be credible enough that with corroboration, I think it could turn some heads.
I think that's the perfect statement to say, is that she's credible enough that with corroboration, her points will be established. Yes.
You know, the other thing that I think makes her credible, Joseph, is the context. I've said from the beginning, the two things that were going to really hurt him in terms of convincing this jury that he did not do the things she says that he did was the drug and alcohol use, some of the rage that we saw him when he was drunk. We've seen it on tape, and also the jealousy. Those two things play very well and dovetail well into the types of stories that she's saying.
Correct. I mean, it's also stereotypical that, you know, a man who's abusing alcohol is abusive to his female partner. You know, we've heard that, and that is something that her testimony can play right into. So I think that it can be powerful testimony if corroborated. I don't think her testimony is 100% is going to establish what she needs to establish on its own.
All right, and you know, it's interesting. She said he was the love of my life, but when he drank, he became this other thing, this really awful thing, and no one told him. Just poignant stuff. All right, Joseph, stand by. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you right back into the courtroom for more testimony of Amber Heard. Keep it right here on Court TV.
.com today.
I'm Tanley Painter.